known by its map designation as Area 51.
We're now learning Area 51,
known as Area 51.
Thank you for
Near
clearing
Area
that up.
51.
Thank you.
Known as Area 51.
Because Area 51 is very important.
They called him Jimmy, and everybody wanted to be his friend.
What's good? What's good? Welcome to Area 51 here with Jimmy James, telling you the truth about boxing for all those who are fans of the sport. Welcome to my channel. I think you're going to like it. Here in Golden Era, we only talk about how we feel about boxing. We take all that racial and all that nationalistic bullshit somewhere else. So if you're going with that crap, go somewhere else. We don't want you here. I just don't want to put up with that shit. You know, I just want to talk boxing. Okay. And, subscribe here. Give us a like, and also share the content if you like what you hear here. So normally I do videos in Spanish. I'm doing a lot of lives in Spanish, but I want to kind of speak more and give more of my thoughts of boxing in English. And today I want to talk about this particular situation where Vasyl Lomachenko in an interview said that he ranked higher Shakur Stevenson than Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. And the truth of the matter is that I believe that Shakur Stevenson is a very good fighter, and frankly, I think that he only went up to 135 because he missed the weight mark, and that's what it was. He couldn't do the weight, and he feels like his body can't do anything. You can't do anything else. I mean, if your body doesn't work, your body doesn't work. And it came as a big surprise for many people because a lot of us thought that he was going to be undisputed at 130. And there were some really good fights there. Hector Garcia, the guy who beat Roger Gutierrez, was there, and he's a really good fighter. He beat Chris Colbert. Chris Colbert was a high prospect. And he was a world contender as well. And he beat him. And everybody was shocked when he beat Chris Colbert. So I really wanted to see Hector Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson. But unfortunately, we couldn't see it. Joe Cordina, the Welsh guy, looks like a good fighter as well. And he holds the title in that division. Or I thought he held the title. I think something happened with his fight with Rakimov. And he didn't fight him in the end. But that still would have been a really good unification fight for Shakur Stevenson. And it's sad because, he just didn't make the weight and he had to go up and they stripped him out of his belt. So you can call him a cheater or whatever, but they took his belts out. They didn't do that with Valdez when he tested positive for an illegal substance, and they still handed his belt and he still was able to fight. So against Robson Conceição, the Brazilian guy. So Shakur Stevenson's fought really tough opponents. He beat Oscar Valdez. He beat Robson Conceição. He beat Nakatila, who ended up being actually a good fighter because he beat Miguel Berchelt. And I'm not saying that Miguel Berchelt was the best fighter. I think his defense was terrible. But I mean, he's right now in 135, and I think he's going to be dangerous. It was an awkward fight for Stevenson. So I think Stevenson, has a really good resume, in my opinion. And I think that now he's at 135, he's going to be dangerous. And I agree with Lomachenko that Shakur Stevenson is actually the most dangerous fighter coming up. But I also believe that Shakur Stevenson in a fight with Lomachenko will beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko right now, as I see him, I think that his best weight class was 130. And there were a lot of fighters ducking him. Gervonta Davis was one of them. He could have fought him. I think that 130 was Vasyl Lomachenko's division. But once he went up to 135, and with all the American talents coming up, it was just more difficult. The American way of boxing is more difficult than if you compare with other countries. Now, I know he beat Jorge Linares and whatever. It was a good fight. But things changed when he fought Teofimo Lopez. And I warned a lot of people that Teofimo Lopez would beat Vasyl Lomachenko. A lot of people didn't listen. So I think that Vasyl Lomachenko right now, I wouldn't call him the most dangerous in his division. It's obvious that he could have fought Devin Haney time ago. He didn't fight Devin Haney. He decided to go for the franchise belt. You want to call it whatever you want to call it, but that's not a real belt. And even when Teofimo got that belt from Vasyl Lomachenko, which is really just a designation that the WBC gives to the one who dominates a division, but since there's no undisputed, it's like a lineal belt for the WBC. It's the weirdest thing ever, and you can request it. So nobody counted that belt as Teofimo being undisputed because it's a imaginary designation. That's what it is. So that was a big mistake by Lomachenko, and I think he could have fought Devin Haney. And I think he had a chance against Devin Haney like 2 years ago. I think Devin Haney was still kind of progressing to be the fighter that he is now. But now I don't think he beats Devin Haney either. And I think that Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney would beat Vasyl Lomachenko. I don't believe that Vasyl Lomachenko right now, specifically in that weight class, he would be any of the two guys. And I know there's a lot of Vasyl Lomachenko fanboys, but Vasyl Lomachenko, it's one thing to fight other countries, and another thing is to fight the American style of boxing. If he lost against Teofimo Lopez, he could surely lose against a much bigger opponent in Devin Haney, which he's technically a welter, stuck at 135, and he's probably going to move up to 140. And he's definitely going to lose against Shakur Stevenson. I see Shakur Stevenson just popping the jab, moving, holding him when he needs to. Because Shakur Stevenson, to me, is kind of like a hybrid fighter. And he actually reminds me a lot of Andre Ward. He has a lot of things similar to Andre Ward. He's an immovable object, I would put it that way. He knows how to fight, he knows how to counter, he knows how to time you. And Vasyl Lomachenko moves too much, and I think that Shakur Stevenson would just time him and catch him, and eventually, actually even could be a TKO decision in favor of Shakur Stevenson. So I think that Vasyl Lomachenko should focus on beating Jermaine Ortiz tomorrow. Let's see what happens. It will be a good fight. But at the same time, I think that, when he's talking about fighting Devin Haney, well, Devin Haney might move up to 140, and he was waiting for you. It's definitely not a duck. But now you have Shakur Stevenson. So now you're in a position where Shakur Stevenson is calling you, and you are saying that Devin Haney is ducking you. Now you can't duck Shakur Stevenson because you don't got a belt, right? And now you want to fight Devin Haney. But when you did have a belt, you didn't want to fight him. You decided to give your regular title to him and get the franchise belt. But now, Shakur Stevenson might not have a belt. I mean, I don't know who he's going to fight at 135. Let's see what happens. But if he doesn't have a belt, and he's calling you out, you got to fight him. Because according to you, Devin Haney should fight you. And this is another thing that I didn't understand, why they put Vasyl Lomachenko ranked so high. The guy was kind of, I understand that it was the Ukraine war and whatever, but, I think they should put him, at least ranked him number 5 or something, and then just let him fight a fight to be, in that position. But they ranked him like, I think right now he's ranked number 1 for one of the titles for Devin Haney, which I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair. I don't think they should have ranked him that high. If you're out for a minute, no matter what the circumstances is, you should at least start in top 5 and then go up for them. So maybe the fight with Jermaine Ortiz will put him in that top 1 spot. But I don't think Vasyl Lomachenko will beat Shakur Stevenson, and I think Shakur Stevenson will TKO him. I don't believe he beats Devin Haney either. And I think there's few fighters there that he might beat, but they're dangerous fights. I think, I believe, and you can say whatever you want, but I believe Jojo will give Lomachenko a really good fight, because Jojo Diaz likes to fight in the inside, and he's really good at it. And we'll see what happens in this next fight tomorrow with this guy. William Cepeda. I think will be a good fight. And if he beats Cepeda, I think I would like to see Jojo against somebody. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, man, a lot of people putting Vasily Lomachenko over Shakur Stevenson, saying that he will beat the shit out of Devin Haney. Nah, man, I don't think so. I think Devin Haney will beat Lomachenko easy. And I think that Shakur Stevenson will also beat him too. And that's just my opinion on the subject. So peace out. If you like my program, give us a thumbs up. And hopefully we get to see those fights, because I think Shakur Stevenson wants all the fire in the grill. He wants it all. And I think Lomachenko is going to have a really good opportunity to try to become undisputed with or without Devin Haney giving him the opportunity, depending on how he feels on his weight. So we'll see. But it wouldn't be ducking. So that's all for now, folks. Give us a like, show us love here in Golden Era, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out and subscribe.